coffee in the world?
I can make there be coffee. Black, cream and sugar.
Cream and sugar. Thank you, sweetie.
Okay. Joe, do you want anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Jerry, this is wonderful. Everyone.
So what I wanted to start with was just generally, how awesome you are.
Oh, that's good. One of my favorite subjects.
Yeah. And how some movies look. I want to talk to you about horror series because I'm writing a series and I've never really written a series before. And you've been writing a series for quite a long time and you figured out how to do it. So I need a series to you.
Current story.
Really?
Yeah. Never hold anything back. You trust yourself to come up with the next cool thing for the next book. Okay? I just wrote yesterday a blog post that was a response to a comment you made at one of the Twitter.com reviews that you did.
Okay.
And because you said something there that made me go, but no, huh? And it stuck in my head for like 3 years until I figured out what it was. And it's quite relevant to this. You said something about me keeping a secret. Ability to keep a secret.
Yeah.
No, I don't keep secrets that way. That isn't how I think of it. I don't think of it as, I'm going to set this up and then someday in the right book it's going to go boom. That isn't at all the way it reads from here. It's a special case, or just another case of the whole thing about, which you know as well as I do, of knowing more than the reader. Right? That's all it is you go, yes, I happen to know that spoiler is secretly spoiler.
Yeah.
Right? And what's cool about that for me is not, now I can someday do a big reveal. What's cool about that is every time my character interacts with spoiler, I will know that character is also interacting with spoiler.
Right.
And that will change it, and that's cool. That's fun. It's a bit of background that informs everything. And then as you're doing that, every once in a while, you'll get the story where you go, oh man, this would be a great place to reveal spoiler. And you go, yeah, I'm going to do that. But you aren't holding back.
So you don't think of that as keeping a secret?
No, I think of it as knowing things that I am choosing not to tell the reader. The difference between not telling the reader something and keeping a secret is the implication of the secret that someday you're going to reveal.
Right. So at the time, you were thinking you were never going to reveal the spoiler was really a spoiler.
Correct.
But you were always going to know it, that you did know it, and you were never going to tell anybody.
Exactly.
But then one day you thought, oh, why
That
did we
is-
so totally put this in here?
Exactly.
Not like as if it was anything else.
Right.
It's just that you've been keeping it secret since 1983.
Yes.
Wow.
That-
That's so cool.
That is exactly how that happens. And the thing is,
That's so cool.
and because that's the kind of thing that makes series fun. Is it's not a matter of you just write the book. And then there are other things that will turn into something cool because of how you're doing it.
So when you're just writing the book, the individual book, are you aiming for an end point in that book? Are you thinking, okay, this is the book where they have a meal, and at the end of this book, we're going to be at the end of the meal? Or do you think, I'll write this book and maybe we'll only get halfway through the meal? Just random example.
Well, certainly with Zer, I had no idea what was going to happen in the book, but I knew they'd get to the meal.
Right.
Because that was the thing that gets you started in the, God, it'd be really fun to write a book where every chapter was like a big part of a meal, and then make that tie into what's happening in that chapter. Wow, that would be cool. Gotta do that. Or a laundry you're not that good a writer allow you to kick up the game. You know what I mean?
The structure gives you so much.
It does, and structure is just one of those fun things to play with. To me, the whole game is what happens next, right?
Right.
And how do I train myself into coming up with a cool thing that happens next? And structure is one of the huge ones because then you can go back to your list and say, oh, blood stains on cans. Okay, I can write toward that. And of course, if it turns out not to work, you can always go back and fix it. That's the beauty of books. But in urethra, theoretically. Every other chapter in that, every odd number chapter has a really appalling Hamlet pun. That was just put in there so that when I didn't know what happened next, and that was a really difficult book for me. I referred to that as the goddamn fucking book from hell.
Because it was in third.
Because it was in third person, and I had not realized until then how much I relied on Flood's voice to carry the story. And so I was like, oh my god. And then when it was done, my critique group just trashed it and made me rewrite it all anyway. They were right. So, in fact, I'm now fairly pleased with that one. But it was no fun getting there. And so what I did is, not knowing what was going to happen, when I was stuck, I'd go, okay, let me come up with a really horrible Hamlet pun. And I would read through Hamlet, find a line, and go, yeah. And now I can write to that. And as I wrote to that, something interesting would happen. And the story would move forward. Like the first one is I wanted to introduce the agricultural setting. It's an actual agricultural setting in a feudal society. It's not in fantasy dreamland. It's a feudal society in which there are very definite relationships between the individual and the land, between the individual and the lord, between,
And where everybody lives ridiculously much longer than you would expect in a traditional society like that. So that has its own implications on everything.
So I wanted to go into a big thing about the flax. And I ended up with the line, and the true salad flax will melt.
Yes.
Let's move on.
So knowing that you were going to put a lousy pun in kept you moving forward.
Yes, it provided me a way to, who here has read Nine Princes and Amber? I mean, I was late to the party in figuring out that's a metaphor for writing. When he's walking the pattern, that's what writing is. What's important is that you just keep moving forward. And sometimes you hit a veil, a place where you just, all of your energy just to make a little bit of progress, then you break through and it's easier for a while. And so finding ways to trick my brain into keeping that progress going is a huge part of the game for me. And I just pretty much trust my subconscious that I know what I like in a story. So if I can just keep moving, it'll be stuff I like. And with any luck, other people will like it too.
And you're not thinking about where it's going and the end point on the book or the series or...
Sometimes I am. I mean, they're different. It depends on the book. Certainly, we were just talking in the coffee clutch in a pond, or spit, as I like to call it. I was, just going along, and I said, I want this to be the one where he confronts this. And all of a sudden, the image from, I was in the second chapter, the image of the ending. He's standing on the cliff. And then just that happened, and I was like, oh yeah, that's gotta happen. So I knew that. And then I told you about the structure. time. I mean, for 4 years, I still listen to them. Oh, that's cool. I gotta do that. And Bear was talking about plot structure and analyzing different plot structures. And here's how you do this one. And this one came from this period and was very popular here. And okay, I have to digress. Who here is familiar with the Flying Karamazov brothers?
Yeah.
You remember the terror trick?
Yeah.
Okay, the Flying Karamazov, they're a juggling team, they're amazing. And they have this trick where all through the show, it's a 2-act show, with different juggling bits, they introduce items. In a really funny way. They'll give some little bit and they'll introduce, listen to the following fact-like phrase. Our current names for things are the initials of the older names for the thing. For example, he holds up the spot. Portable hole in the ground, which over time became blah, blah, blah. Which is why the fourth item of the terror trick is a skillet. And at the end, they've got these items. They've got a blowtorch, a champagne bottle with the wire off, shake, an egg, various sharp cutting things, and at the end, they take all of these items. I think a chainsaw.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
And they take all of these things and they juggle them. And at the end, one of them grabs the skillet. The egg falls in the skillet. The blowtorch comes up to fry the egg. The cork pops off the champagne, and one of them shows up with 4 glasses, pours the champagne into the glasses, and they toast each other. And I thought, what a great way to structure a book. So that's Hawk. That was the whole. That was how I structured Hawk. And I discovered that if you're going to structure a plot book that way, you have to figure out all sorts of insignificant little details early on. The kind that I never like to figure out until I write it. It was hell.
That's what I haven't seen the Flying Karamazov brothers, and that sounds really cool. But that's what I think of as the Grand Sophie ending. Have you read Georgia Mayo's Grand Sophie?
No.
But it's got an end like that, where it goes pop, 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 and you end up with the champagne glasses, basically.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do one of those, and I did it to the book. And just because.
For me, those are really hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really, really hard.
The
Because you've got to make it look effortless.
Yes.
And it's really hard.
And
And you've got to set everything up so that it comes out in exactly the right order.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then, I would like to decide on chapter 1, at the point when I'm introducing the skillet, I don't want to know that I will leave champagne on.
Right.
But I have to for that.
Yes.
And that made it really hard.
Oh, right, so you have actually figured it all out. I figured it out halfway through. I mean, I worked out halfway through, when I'd written half the book, how I was going to do it from that point to make it all come pop, pop, pop. I didn't do it from the first page, I don't think I could do that. That would be too hard.
It was.
Yeah.
I never remember doing that again.
Right. Do you ever, because you've mentioned a whole pile of different structure things that are awesome that you do. Do you ever have somebody say, you should never do this, and then think, okay, how do I do that?
Whenever I hear,
Right,
you should never do this,
yes.
my first thought is, Mike Ford could have done that. And that reaction itself frequently intimidates me enough that I don't want to try. There are exceptions. I can't think of any at the moment. There are exceptions when, when I do get the, oh yeah, watch this.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but I'm not Mike Ford.
I never had a piece of negative writing advice where I didn't immediately want to try. Yeah. So there's no point in saying how you do a series because you just make it as you go along.
Mostly.
Except you've got the structure because you know it's going to be 17.
19.
house isn't too expert.
Yes, I know that. I have bits and pieces of the ending. In fact, I've got a fair bit of how it's going to end, I think, unless I change my mind.
Right.
And I'm a deadhead. We like improvisation. You know, one of the guiding things is always, if I think of something better or something that seems cooler, I'll do that instead. Just, you know, let the contradictions fall where they may.
So, how do you keep it consistent?
You don't.
Well, you mostly do.
Yeah. There's all kinds of cheats for that. All sorts of them. No limit. If you're writing something long, you want it to be, I mean, obviously you can do the most obvious cheat, which is taking notes, but that's no fun. Generalities are your friend. That's the biggest cheat. It was a few years ago. Cheating. Because I don't know how long ago it was. It was sometime back then. So yeah, you do, anytime you can get away with the generality, you do. Also, another favorite is to not worry about it. Then when you see the contradiction, sometimes the contradiction is like, oops. But sometimes it's, oh, I could have some fun with that.
Yeah, and you can make that part of the first person smart ass lying.
That's a kind of cheating I'm not comfortable with. Yeah, if necessary. I don't like it. I don't like the,
I don't like it either.
I don't like the, you know, oh, I contradicted myself. He was lying. I like my lies of my unreliable narrators to be planned.
That's what we do, Carl.
Oh, yeah.
So you make it all except for lies.
Yeah. Yeah. What, doesn't everybody do that?
No.
That's pretty much what I do in real life.
Because you were saying, you know, you can go back and change the bloodstains if they don't work out.
Yeah.
Once those bloodstains are in print,
Now you're stuck with it. Yeah.
yeah, this is what I'm just discovering.
Yeah, and the thing is to try to trick yourself into finding, into going, what cool thing can I do to make that work?
Mm-hmm.
And it's astonishing if you do that, how often you'll come up with something that was much cooler than it would have been if you'd been consistent to begin with. Okay, here's an example, it's fresh in my mind because we were talking about it an hour ago, of a lie I knew at the time. In, I think, the very first book, Vlad talks about how Dragarian women are unable to conceive except by an act of will. Is that conception for them is conscious and deliberate. It's totally wrong. But I knew that at the time. That was Vlad thinking he was smarter than he was. It's just a side effect of him not knowing shit. And contraception is extremely common to get. That was a lie that I planned.
Right. And did
Then there is the carriage issue.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah, I
is
noticed
not,
that.
which I had to retcon.
Right. But with the contraception lie, yeah, when you put that in, were you thinking at some point I will expose this?
No. I was thinking, you know, it wouldn't be, it was more like, it wouldn't surprise me if this came to light, that he was wrong about this, but I had no idea. Because remember, at that time I didn't know I was writing a series.
Right.
I didn't think I was writing a single, and having the character be wrong about certain fundamentals of the society, that's the big thing about growing up a red, is, I'm trying to think of how to say this without being really offensive. Right or wrong, you are convinced you understand your society better than almost everyone around you.
Right. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
Yeah, and therefore it's very hard to write characters who really, truly understand their world and make them believable, because I pretty much know, I know very, very few people who, in my opinion, of course, understand their world, so my characters don't either. There are things going on around them that they have strong opinions about, and they're wrong.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
everybody's an unreliable narrator.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's yeah, I think that's self-evident. But a lot of them don't agree with that. But,
Right.
but they're wrong. So just back to the secrets and lies thing. When I figure out some cool thing that I'm not telling the reader right now, and that's a thing, I can't wait to tell them. I can't wait till they know this cool thing. Can I not put it in here? No, I can't put it in here. Well, when's the soonest point that I can put it in? I can't go in this chapter. When can I get it in? Oh, I can't wait till I can get on it. Oh, you know, sort of like, so 20 years later will not occur to me. I would just explode from suspense.
Except that you do world building, right?
I do world building, yeah.
Okay. In the course of world building, you are very much aware that you have information you're not giving the reader, but that informs the work,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
There you go. That's all I'm talking about. You may have some things that you are thinking of as this is a secret I'll reveal, but if you write the series, at some point you're going to say, oh, that bit of business I had to define the world, this is a place to mention it. And then somebody will say, God, Joe, how did you keep that secret that long?
So one of the questions that I frequently ask when I've got stuff, world building stuff, or I don't actually see these things as really different. World building stuff, or plot stuff, or things about characters, all this kind of stuff that I into. One of the main things that I'm asking myself when I'm setting up is sort of, well, how do I get this in? Where do I put this in? How do I get this across? And I always end up knowing 90% more than is on the page.
Right.
But I do try to get the cool things in.
You try to get in the things.
Well, sometimes you just can't.
Yeah, but you get the things in that will make. Okay, it's not a question of which ones you include, it's a question of how you do it.
Right.
It's finding a cool way to do a reveal.
Yes.
And if there's no cool way to do a reveal, you don't do the reveal.
But I just work hard until I find a cool way.
Now, well, you see that a great deal of success with that. It's working.
So when you, in your individual non-era novels, are there sort of millions of cool things that have never come out?
Well, there's millions of things that I think are cool. I don't know how many of the reader would, but yeah, sure. Agar is loaded with them.
Right.
The time frame of Agar is the mirror image of the time frame of Dracula in terms of days. It's the rest of the calendar, for instance. For instance, every character in Agar is immortal in some way, if only by this is my friend who died and I'm keeping her alive by quoting her. Every single character in that book has some form of immortality. How loquacious the main character is determined by the phase of the moon at that time.
Oh, I should realize that.
And
that is cool.
And one,
It's so cool.
and here's one that's not cool, that I never mentioned to anyone. It will now be revealed for the first time. I've never revealed it because I know everybody I respect will immediately go, oh, Jesus, Steve. But I don't suppose anybody has a copy of what you're. Okay.
I do 75 miles away.
Yeah. Just, if you want, sometime, if you're really bored, open up the book, look at the title of the first chapter, note the letter it starts with, then go to the second second chapter. Know the letter it starts with.
Yeah.
And that's the rest of what clues we're gonna get.
That's, people are wrong when they say the word vampire never appears in the book.
Jesus, Steve.
So you might be able to, so,
You're right to tell me this.
I figure after, how long has it been, 25 years or something? Finally time to give a big secret away. I was sure that the Greg Feelys of the world would instantly spot that and go, this is really dumb.
People don't spot those obvious things.
But yeah, so when, Sun, the Moon, the Stars, has all of those.
Kind of fun.
But yeah, I mean, you do those to make. Jim McDonald does a lecture at Bio in Paradise in which he shows this, I don't know if there's a term other than dollhouse for it, but it's basically a dollhouse that he's built. And he talks about how there's one room in it that there's a guy working, but you can't see it. It's completely closed. The point is, he knows it's there, and that informs all the rest of the work of building it. And it's just like that. My knowledge of those things I was doing in Aguiar and in the Sun, Moon, and Stars, all those inform the rest of the work and give me cool things to play with. That the results will appear. As Lennon said, it's the surface, the currents and ripples on the surface of the water are a reflection of the essence underneath of the deep currents underneath, even if they're a distorted reflection and you can't necessarily see them. They are what determines what the surface looks like.
So do you
I really went off the rails.
No, not at all, no. But do you do the acrostic for the same reason you do the Hamlet poems to keep yourself moving and give yourself a thing that you were doing a bit of structure?
Sometimes, yes. Yeah. That's a big reason. Another one, other reasons is just gotta be cool if you do that. I mean, how do you resist that?
Yeah.
If you can't resist that. You can't resist, God, I bet I could get away with this. Or I can make that happen. You're helpless before that. It comes out in your brain, you're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But also, when you're writing a book, when you're writing a novel, it's long, and you're doing it for a long time, and you're doing it on your own, and it's a weird thing to be doing, really, in a way, and you've got to keep yourself doing it, and focused, and have intermediate goals, like starting the next chapter with an M, or whatever. I'm really big fan of intermediate goals, because it's a long way at the end of the book.
Yeah, in fact, the intermediate goals are such a joy to me. That's one of the reasons I have so much trouble with short fiction.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any of those. I've got to just do the thing. It's sort of like, oh, what about the foreplay?
The thing with short fiction, I've only recently figured out short fiction, but like you can write.
Fuck all about poker. And thought it was a typo. And it was one of my favorite lines. And essentially, it's a guy bitching about having lost a hand. And Phil says, and Rem says, what does that mean? What do the terms mean? And Phil says, it means he's a whiner. And he read it as it means he's a winner. And like every poker player in the world reading that would go, gotta change this or Western civilization will fall. He said, Steve, I'm sorry, Western civilization has fallen. Change it anyway.
Yeah, I don't listen to my audiobooks because I'm sure they're full of things like that, and I would think that it wouldn't be possible to change them. Yeah. The thought of spending 8 hours listening to this book that I wrote ages ago was...
Everything's different with that book. Everything, it's just...
It's not... No, you've collaborated before.
Yeah, maybe it was more than both, yeah. And all the collaborations were a joy, but there's something that I really don't know what it is. I seriously don't understand what it is about that book that feels so magical to me. That's, I'm pretty much over it, but I did all of the awful things that you don't do with a book.
You put it on the table.
Not that one. I did everything but.
Did you say, in one book, I was going to be talking to people?
No, I don't need those things. I don't get a social for that. But tempting. No, I mean in terms of constant obsessing about Amazon ratings. I mean constantly looking at, caring in a way that is beyond what's healthy. Because the point is, you finish your book, it goes out, you write the next one. You don't obsess about how this one is doing. And for some reason, knowing that, and I have never had a problem with that.
And it's possible.
I did.
What number book is it? Yes, it's like 20 or something.
Have to be about that.
Yes,
26, 27.
Right. And suddenly with that
Suddenly with
one,
that one, yeah, it's entirely, I just don't know. I don't know what it is, but something, to sound stupid and mystical, it touches me at a level nothing else has. Probably since the sun, moon, and stars. But that one I was able to, I had a piece of bad luck with that in retrospect is good luck. Which is, that stage you go through where, with every book, where this is the worst thing that has ever been written. And I don't know what idiot would publish it unless you're going to read it. This is appalling. Every word is the wrong word. With the sun, moon, and the stars, I got that at the page proofs. So I could not read my own page proofs. And it came out, in fact, there's a whole chapter section spacing this, and I just couldn't read it because it was awful. It was the worst thing that had ever been written, right? Well, that fact allowed me to distance myself.
And did you eventually come to like it again?
Yeah.
Good. Good, this is a great book. It's really great book.
claims that she said, it's on you now, or you can play if you want, or something. I didn't hear.
Oh, American.
Yeah, I don't remember that. All I remember is getting this envelope and going, oh my God, what did I do to Emma that is so horrible she can't even tell me?
Here's your restraining order.
And I went, oh, this is gonna suck. Oh my God. And I opened it up and I said, my dear cousin. Whoa. And we were off.
Yeah. And you wrote ultimately.
Yeah, we wrote letters to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that must be really fun.
It was a blast. It was an absolute
But
blast.
what if they do it wrong?
Then you picked the wrong collaborator.
Right.
No, I mean, even with Incrementalist, there were points where we said, no, I don't think so. We each had like one or so and that was the smoothest I've ever had it. And that was magic. That was 6 weeks of just. But even then, we would say, I don't think that's smooth. I think that let's do this. So you did that.
So, any other strangers in the crowd have any questions? Chip?
Specifically on that last point, when you wrote letters to each other, did you have any discussions around those, or did you do it deliberately blind, as Reedy and Stevermer did a couple of years later with the Enchanted Chocolate Pot?
We didn't line up until right before the climax, when we actually went, okay, we got to decide exactly what's going to happen and who's going to write what parts of it. So sort of 4/5 of it was blind. And then the final confrontation we needed to figure out.
Walton, Carolyn, Sorcery and Cecilia before.
Sorcery and
Oh,
Cecilia.
yeah, sorry.
Talking about the other one. Right?
No, he said the Enchanted Chocolate Pot, which is the other name for Sorcery and Cecilia.
Yes.
It's the same. It is what is called as a YA.
I did not realize that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that was before us.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. No, because I remember hearing Pat talk about that before reading Freedom and Necessity. Yeah. Okay.
The fun thing about an epistolary novel, what makes it such a joy, is the fact that as you're telling the story, the other thing that's going on is there is this character writing this thing, and that's happening.
Yeah.
And that has an effect on everything, and that's fun.
Oh yeah, well, that's so fun. And you can also do that with diary and memoir. And who's writing it? And I did this thing in the Philosopher Kings where one of the characters reads part of the Just City that is somebody's memoir. And I just I've been still for years. You know, it's so the readers read the book and it's first person and it's somebody's memoir and they wrote it. And then the character reads that text. And
That's glorious.
It's really fun. Yeah. Okay, sensible, grown-up questions from people in the audience. We've only got a little while and I'm reading at 1 o'clock, so anybody? Nobody?
Not really sensible.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the stuff you did in Liavet? Liavet?
Leave it.
Liebeck. It was fun. It was, I got to write short fiction because I could write a novel and stretch it into pieces, like, here's a chapter of a novel, then you call it a short story. It was just an amazing collaborative effort. I mean, the bunch was sitting around creating the world, starting with, let's create a place we would like to live. Rule 1, there are no somebody comes to me and says, hey, can we like make more of your work available to the public and in exchange give you money? I say, yes. You know, this is not one of those things that's hard that you have to think about. Yeah, I mean, I really love, you know, Pamela's stuff in there. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Acting some of her finest work, I think.
Yeah, I'm really glad it's going to be available to more people.
Yeah.
Really soon.
Yes, that is a good thing. I would love to see, in fact, Will and Emma are talking about the possibility of reissuing the anthology as e-books, and I hope that happens. I think it would be great. I'd love for those to be out there. I'm proud of what we did with the, you know, group line sort of did. We had Gene Wolfe in there, for God's sake. And Mike Ford.
And Jamie Olin.
Yeah.
Other questions? We about done?
How should I spell the name of that collaboration you were just describing? Liavek, was it?
Liavek.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
For someone who has not read any of your work for a while, what book should we start with?
The Incrementalist. But I'm completely over it. Yes.
What books do you currently have in the pipeline, Mr. Author Bruce?
About 2 years ago or so, Skyway and I took the manuscript of The Incrementalist to Brooklyn, New York, sat in the home of Patrick Henry's Hayden and Ace Dew and went over it line by line in a 14-hour session. That was an utter joy. We're going to do the same thing again next Tuesday.
Whoa.
The second one. Whether it will be an utter joy or whether we'll come out of it crying like little girls, I don't know. But we're going to do it this time. There will be Julie Verde. So this is relevant to my needs and feelings. So the second Incrementalist novel, title unknown, title undetermined, I'm going to guess be out in about a year, maybe. And then I'm currently working on Ballista, which I'm on the 3rd chapter of it at the moment. And it takes place immediately before Hawk.
Did you have to give me some kind of
Thank you.
I am avoiding, I'll take suggestions. I am avoiding Ballista, it's too obvious.
It doesn't even need an excuse to tell you because it rains and whatever, you know. My first laptop was called Jared. I sort of thought it would be great to sort of like go through the, no, it would not be great to go through the cycle.
In case people in the room don't know, could you run down the titles and the abusive titles? A few of them?
Jarhead, Yentl, there's Sporker, there's Drag Queen, there's Tucson, the Kleenex Guards, 500 Beers After.
How about Barista?
About what?
Barista. For the new one.
Oh, that's
What
bad.
you kind?
And what was the title for Hawk?
Yeah, no,
Spit.
it is like yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe.
Well, a song about never saying never and never being told what you can or cannot do. This is one of us. A 1, 2, 3. Before I got to fighting, or when fighting got to me, I looked to find examples on the field of chivalry, and I saw mighty arms, much stronger than my arms could ever be. so I thought perhaps that field was not for me. But still I stayed and watched the fighting till one figure stood apart, in armor newly fashioned and a helm more pot than art. But each blow is thrown with honor and the lightness of the heart. So I took that step which soon became a start. 'Cause she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss, but I remember being proud that she was one of us. And we might never stand together in a shield wall side by side. Because of her I lift my sword with pride. She was ladylike and lively, not the type you would expect, with a braver heart than many and a slot shot to respect. And I guess she'd once decided this was where she'd like to be, and I thought if she could do it, why not me? 'Cause she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss.